Hey everyone, that guy over there bringing you game three of the Sunflower GT, this time versus Dark Elves. Um, yeah, this kind of early morning battle report for me, so might not be as long as the other ones. As you can see, here's my deployment. This time I tried something a little bit different. I've got more of a stronger center, and I put my Ripperdactyls out on the outside. I'll show you his deployment and list here. As you can see, he kind of had the strong center too, so I was hoping to kind of chaff up that big unit of Witch Elves and then get my Ripperdactyls around the sides and kind of fight the fast cav war on the flanks. So just briefly run through. He's got a unit of Dark Riders on the far left and right, so it's 2 units. He's got a unit of Warlocks with a level 4 caster there. Um, there's a dragon with a sorceress on the back. And she really didn't have a save or anything like that. I probably should have focused on it earlier, but yeah, so it's a sorceress on the dragon. Um, there's a master in the back with one of the lances, one of the magic lances, um, I believe. Then there's the two hydras, and then the cauldron of blood, and a big unit of witches. So yeah, it's pretty mean list, but uh, still gonna give it the old college try. So here's this is before I put down my chameleon skinks. Those guys are great for vanguard blocking, so that way I am ensured to get my vanguards where I need them. Here's just another look. He's got a great looking army, by the way. I should have done a little bit closer up picture of that dragon, especially. Just really cool models all around. So I think that was the great part about this tournament. So here's Chameleon Skinks number one. Take another picture. Uh, there's more pictures. So you can kind of see kind of the liability of those Razordons is that you got to keep them near your slan. So, um, that's something I'll talk about later. But I feel like you kind of dictate very early on. You're like, well, my slan's going to go here, so I guess I got to put my Razordons here, and then my BSB's got it. So I'm trying not to have a center with this list, and uh, having the Razordons is definitely forces me kind of into having a center, which I can talk about more later. Here's Chameleon Skinks number two. Again, just trying to get the Vanguard block. Oh, so he had a unit of scouts too. Those shades right there behind the fence. Um, I promise these sideways pictures are going to go away here pretty soon, but this is what Vanguards look like. I push forward. I actually push back the unit of Rippers up top, and then I push forward my two Pterodon Riders just so that they can start to chaff up that big horde. Um, you can see he doesn't really move around a whole lot because there's really nowhere for him to move with his Vanguards because of the Chameleon Skinks again, because he can't be within 12 inches. So you can see I've got Black Toad markers on the Witches, the Warlocks, and the Dark Riders. So turn one, he goes ahead and charges, and I flee with my first Teardown Rider. I don't really roll that far, so I was like, oh crap, he's gonna. I mean, fortunately, everything else is blocking up that huge base there, but he redirects into my next Pterodon Rider, so I flee with them. Those guys are really great with the feign flight rule that they can keep bouncing back. Um, so the dragon, it I should take a picture of the dragon on his base, but anyway, he's charging the Chameleon Skinks. I stand and shoot, and he just fails the charge. So I'm pushing that unit forwards. They only stumble forward a few inches, maybe 5, I think. I see a 5 on that dice. So, yeah, really slowing them down. Um, and then the rest of his units move forward like so. Again, trying to keep the line. So I find that when you slow down a big keystone unit like this witch unit, the rest of the army kind of slows down too because they don't want to get ahead of each other and block up that big unit. So yeah, the Dark Riders from the far left have moved over here, and we're just lining up, getting ready for some shots. He's got the he really doesn't have that much shooting, I guess. He's just got the 3 units, but you know, as with all elves, they're like armor piercing and all kinds of craziness. So anyway, he shoots, kills off 2 of these chameleon skinks. I want to say they passed their morale check. No, they must have fled because why else would they be way over here now? Um, yep. So he's killed off those chameleon skinks. The rest of the shots must have been going wide because I don't see any other damage. So, and spells must have been effective as well. So Lizardmen turn 1. Um, I push up my chaff as you see here. My Ripperdactyls, they both were angled around so that they could charge those Dark Riders, which fled from them, and then they just stumbled forward a little bit. And then the Razordons moved up to here. And I was going to push them forward with Hand of Glory. So I think something I kind of messed up here is I've got a huge area of the table where none of the units can flee. So that being the Ripperdactyls and the Razordons. So that could potentially be a problem for me. The Chameleon Skinks have fled further through everything, but everything passes their panic check. And yeah, so then on the far left, my units are just kind of running around trying to Zulu Don back behind his left flank. I lost some skinks here. I must have lost some to shooting from all those shades. But yeah, the battle, I guess, is just developing. So with shooting, the Razordons, I push them, I boost their ballistic skill, I hand the glory them forward, and between the skinks and them, I kill off all the warlocks except for 1, which is terrible because now the the Hydra can sneak past. Uh, Shooting takes out most of these Dark Riders and quite a bit of the shades there. Think magic takes out the shades. I think I soul quench through them or something with the skink priest there. So yeah, just trying to knock out the support units because I think I kind of realized that I'm not going to get past these witches. So one of my Pterodon chiefs flies back behind. Um, they might both be back there. I'm not sure. So anyway, Dark Elf turn 2. He charges the Hydra into my Razordons. I don't think I do any wounds on the stand and shoot though, which is bad. I'm curious to see how they do against a Hydra, but with it losing its regen save, it's a lot easier to wound. But now that I've Hand of Glory them forward, they're outside the BSB's range, which is not so good. And the general's range. The dragon charges these guys who stand and shoot, and I really don't do anything to them on that stand and shoot. So this is just showing. Oh yeah, he encircles my Pterodon chief back there. It's my last shot of the Pterodon chief. And he dies with all the shooting. So, yeah, I mean, the 2+ armor save sounds really great, but they have armor piercing shots, so then they just have him down to 3+ pretty quick and he dies. So, he was just trying to get back there to, I don't know, charge in the back, not die to the witches, and then if he runs away, then they have to pursue because they're frenzied, and that would really pull him out of the game. But alas, it was not to be. So yeah, so here it is. The Hydra overruns the Razordons and gets into they get away, but he gets into the Ripperdactyls. So now they're definitely going to die too. So this is kind of what the board looks like. Yeah, I don't know what happened to the other skink chief. He must have killed it off with shooting, just trying to take out the chaff because they get kind of annoying, if you fly them back up in front, like if they run away, rally, fly back in front, and they just bounce back and forth, and so you really got to take them out if you want your big combat blocks to go anywhere. So it's definitely the right move by my opponent to try to get back into my juicier stuff. Um, just take another shot here. So the dragon only kills 5 of these guys, and they stick. So I don't know what it is, but the skinks are just like beasting it against all these monsters. And this is where I realized that the Supreme Sorceress, she just has like a 5+ ward save or something like that. So they're just attacking her, just trying to kill the level 4 to see if the skinks can do anything. Um, it's my brave little skink unit. It's probably the same one that held up the Croxagore unit or the Stegodon for so long in my first game. Just more movement. So after Lizardmen turn, I move everything up around. Um, I so these 2 skinks are still alive. I think they've only done like 1 wound to the sorceress, but still, these Croxagores are trying to angle around, but I've kind of blocked myself up with these skinks. My skink shooting is taking out some of the riders, dark riders here. So I had charged the flank of this master, and that ended up being a bad thing because I ended up losing and running away. Oh, there's my other skink chief. But anyway, they get overrun, and he runs right here. So now this is bad because he can fly right over. And if you remember, my slan bunker's right there. So there's kind of a blurry picture. I've moved the Ripperdactyls around to go after these shades up there. Because that's a good chunk of points I can get pretty easily, I think. In the magic phase, I cast Fiery Convocation, and that really clears out this unit. They have that 5+ ward save though, and I don't know, 5+ ward save always seems to do more than it should. It says Lizardman turn 2, but he I think he moves over here and charges. Yeah, I think he charges something, and they flee, or he flames them or something like that, and they flee. Yep. So Dark Elf turn 3, he's moving forward again. He charges into my Slan bunker, and when we go to close combat, he has Killing Blow, so he kills off my Slan. So that's terrible. It's pretty hard for me to recover from that. Um, here's me kind of sneaking around, but the Hydra now is done with the Rippers. Here's all these guys angling to deal with these guys. The dragon finally kills the unit it was fighting, and the skinks. I think they even rally like right in front of the Croxagores. So now the Croxagores can't do anything. I would have loved to get them in the rear of the dragon. You can see this Dark Rider runs. Once you're down to 1 Dark Rider, they're just impossible to catch. So he runs over here. But of course, I'm going to try to shoot at him anyway for no effect. These guys are coming up. I'm trying to peel off these last few witches because I don't think he got enough dice or something to dispel the Fiery Convocation. You can see he's just got remnants, and once they get down to remnants, the Dark Elf players usually like to hide them, and it's real hard to catch them after there's just like 1 or 2 fast cav running around. So it's pretty easy to save those points. You can see that's just down to 4 witches in the cauldron, but I don't know. I don't think I have the resources to take that down anymore. I think I managed to actually kill off the warlocks, which is pretty big achievement there. Yep. So the Dark Master kills off the skinks and then is now facing the rest of my lines. So I move up to chaff the witches. looks like he grew some guys back, but what actually happened was I think we just took them off, and then he was like, "Wait a second, I get my 5+4," and I was like, "Yeah, go ahead." So he rolled it, and then he got a few of them back. So that's where those guys came from. I don't know if it was through shooting or magic. We had to put some casualties back on, which I mean I don't have a problem with, because there were definitely times in the tournament where people let me take stuff back too. So um, it's good to pay it forward, as it were. Uh, Plus, it's not like I was gonna get those points anyway. So I go to chaff up this thing, um, and we end up putting him here. But it's kind of an interesting rules argument. So he declares his two charges. They flee out of the way. He declared a charge of something else, and the skink block came running in front. So we didn't know how to deal with that. So he just moved within an inch or whatever. And yeah, it was just weird. It was like things were fleeing all over the place, and something came to rest right in front of him. So I don't know if you can just complete the charge or whatever with that unit and wipe them out, or um, we ended up just leaving them there. So it was a 70-point unit, and these two little chameleon skinks are 65, so it's not that big of a deal. Uh, Hydra charges these guys, but they're in the forest now, so it's like, well, no, I'm not stubborn or steadfast. This guy charges in here, so I'm like, hey, maybe I can kill off the supreme sorceress. The dark master charge in the back of this unit that was gonna, trying to deal with this guy. Uh, oh, I know what happened. Because we asked the judge when he came over, and so the witches had to move forward as if they were charging this unit of chameleon skinks, and then when these other skinks fled, they would have had to run through that unit, and that made a lot more sense. So, and I lost one for the dangerous terrain check, because apparently you can run through a unit of chameleon skinks and be fine, except for one guy. uh, and it's me charging from the Hydra again. Just showing this picture here. This picture here. Um, he's moving around to deal with my Ripperdactyls some more because they failed their charge. I think I forgot to mention that. So this looks really bad for me, and it is as bad as it looks. The Hydra goes through them. I think I do a couple wounds though, but he's just going to grow those back. And this is where I decided to call it, because I mean at this point I just have very few units left. There's really no way for me to get any points back. So it's going to be a big loss again, using the scale that they use here. He killed my general and killed my least expensive unit or something. Anyway, he got both the bonus points, and he won by. If you win by 1,500 points, you get the 5-1. So he won by the 1,500 points. So anyway, just in closing, I had no plan for the Hydras. Um, I should try to go for a Spirit Leech or something like that. I needed to have a plan for those guys, or some sort of initiative test spell. Um, but really, I had no tools to deal with those, so I'll have to look at my list and see what I can do about Hydras and other monsters. Fast Cav with 4+ save are incredibly hard to kill. There's a lot of 4+ saves made. I don't get armor piercing. I don't have strength 4 except for the Razordons. So 4+ is pretty tough in Warhammer Fantasy. So it's not like 40k where your AP4 weapons just kill them. So uh, yeah, the ability, because I think they used to be able to take shields, the Dark Riders, but then they lost their fast cav status, so nobody ever did that. So I just yeah, in the new book they can come with shields and still be that way. So that's tough. I got boxed in, and I threw my units up like with the or the Walk Between Worlds when I moved the Razordons up, and I just was right in his path, and I moved right into his path. So that's the hard part with this list, is you got to pick your time to move forward, and you got to try to move around the sides more than like right up in front of them. I kept the witches out of combat though; they never fought a single combat, so I can really avoid the combats. It's just I got to avoid. I guess I should have tried to avoid the other combats more than just try to keep the witches out. So because of those flying units. Once they were angled towards, if they won a combat and they were angled towards my general, like that master was, then they just charge over everything and get into my general. And I didn't realize he had killing blow, so he just killing blowed my Slan. That's fine. So I really need to ramp up my Dark Elf plan. I really have never beaten Dark Elves before. Uh, they just do a lot of things I do, but better. They're faster. They shoot better. Um, they really got something for everything, you know. Uh, so their monsters are better um, block units and all that stuff. So uh, I'll have to see. But overall, it was a great game. I'm trying to wrap this up quick because I gotta go get ready for work. But uh, yeah, it was a good game, and definitely need to look at my Dark Elves strategy because this game taught me some things. So anyway, leaving the first day with a 1-7 loss, which I thought kind of tanked my hopes of maybe coming out as best general for the tournament. But we'll see how things go tomorrow. So anyway, thank you for your time. Please like and subscribe.